If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Let's talk about Donda 2 again, because obviously that is the one thing in hip-hop that people are talking about nowadays. And when you look at all the press releases from different media sources, then you know that this is like the number one thing in hip-hop that is being discussed right now. So let's backtrack a little bit. Kanye released Donda 2 on February 22nd at his release party in Miami. Well, at least he'd performed a lot of the new songs. We heard 16 songs in total from the new Donda album there, but when you look at the track list, you see that there are actually 22 songs that are supposed to be on the final version. So it was pretty obvious that at least 6 songs were missing. So that's why a lot of people started making theories about, the album not being finished and all that. And that is probably very true, because when you listen to the songs from the release party, you can tell that the mixes aren't perfect. Some of the vocal recordings are just bad, straight up just bad. Some of the instrumentals are not, leveled perfectly and stuff like that. So there was a lot of stuff that still needs improvement. And we've had this with the first Donda as well. The first Donda also got a mixing update a couple of weeks or even months after it dropped, and that did improve the album quite a bit. We've also had this happen with The Life of Pablo, for example. Those changes were more major because that included a switching of the individual tracks in the track list, but still, Kanye records have always been very messy once they're released. Well, a couple of days, I think 2 days after the release party, Kanye did actually release the songs on the stem player. You can go to stemplayer.com and see you can connect a stem player product to it, which you can order for $200, and then load those tracks onto your stem player where you can then play them and also dissect them. The whole thing with the stem player, go watch my other video on the stem player if you haven't yet and you want to know more about this. But the stem player is everywhere nowadays, so you've probably seen this. Well, Kanye only released 4 songs. We had 4 songs that dropped, when it first got out. We had Security, Pablo, Broken Road, and We Did It Kid. And those songs were pretty good. I mean, We Did It Kid was, the Migos went crazy on there. Pablo gotta be my personal favorite. I think his energy on there is really cool. I also liked Security, how menacing that beat was. So the tracks were pretty alright, but again, you could tell this is not finished. This is really not finished. There are so many flaws in the tracks that are just going to get fixed over the course of, the coming future and this thing getting more updates and patches. And also, this was only 4 tracks. We were expecting 22 tracks, and he played 16 at the listening party, and now we got 4 on the stem player. This just all didn't really make a lot of sense. Well, a couple of days after that, I think 2 days after that, he did release, the 16 total tracks that he played at the listening party. Those did include the 4 tracks we previously heard. So it's not that there are 20 tracks, but it's just 16 tracks in total. And you can go to the stem player website and play them and, load them onto your stem player. Obviously, you need to have a stem player to listen to them, but there are so many ways out there that you can work around that and kind of emulate that you got a stem player and still play the songs from the website. I, for example, did it. As you can see on the screen, I have them all loaded up, and I don't personally own a stem player. Just do a quick Google search or join the Discord and I'll explain it to you guys. I'm sure there are a lot of people on there that are willing to help to, have you listen to those tracks. And as you can see, we have some of the tracks on here. Let's go through them, which ones we have, and obviously the rest is missing. We have True Love, which featured that XXX Tentacion feature, which was very nostalgic. We have Broken Road. We have Get Lost, Too Easy, Flowers, Security, We Did It Kid, Pablo, Louis Bags with the amazing Jack Harlow feature, Happy, Sci-Fi, Selfish, Lord Lift Me Up, City of Gods, and First Time in a Long Time, and then also the stadium version of True Love. So honestly, these are only 15 songs because the last one is just a stadium version. So this is all there are still 7 tracks missing from this whole thing. Now, we are not exactly sure when we're going to get those or how we will get those. They probably just appear on this, stem player website or the stem player platform, as he calls it now, which is the synthesis of this website and then also the stem player. My boy Bosnian, on the Discord, go join that Discord in the description down below, best hip-hop community. He always got the theories on the Kanye stuff, so let's see what he had to say about this. So Bosnian said, I believe you saw the Donda live. My theory is that they're going to release it in this state exclusively on the stem player. Keep on updating the album until it's finished, and when it's finished, it could end up on streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music too. I think updating Donda 2 through the stem player can be easy enough to do, way easier than updating it through DSP, so digital streaming services, or platforms, that piece for platforms. Well, and I think this is very true. As we already saw, we had 4 tracks already that got out, then it was 16 or 15 basically, so there, and you know, in these 16 tracks, go listen to them, but you can tell that these are not finished. These are such raw stems, and such just, you know, instrumentals are not really there where they're supposed to be, and some of the drums don't come in, and then the vocals are just really bad, and you can tell that this is not finished at all. And I guess that this is gonna, you know, keep getting updated, and this is very easy to do when you just got a website to run, and people can then download the music off of it than having to update it every time on, you know, streaming services, which does take a lot of time to submit music and then actually have it on there. So this is the theory that I think is going to also come true. We're still waiting on some of these tracks that he announced on the track list, for example, but you can also go to like SoundCloud and just, you know, get all the tracks there. So this is, it's not like you need the stem player to listen to this, just like, you know, as I said before it dropped, officially you do, legally you do, but there's a lot of ways out there that you can still listen to Donda 2. I do hope that we're getting more additions and more updates on this album as we get further, you know, into the months after the release of it. And at some point I would really like to listen to this whole thing in its finished version. We already saw the rollout for Donda 1 was pretty messy, and it's sad to see that this is happening again, but I do think that at some point we're gonna get Donda 2 on streaming services. Of course, this does take away a little bit from its commercial success, because people are gonna, you know, tune into this once and listen to the new tracks, but they're not gonna come back around every week and check for new mixing updates, just like it happened with the first Donda. So I do think that this is not really the perfect rollout. I thought the rollout for Donda 1 was way better, but I like what Kanye is doing here with, you know, trying to build a new platform and trying to get people to listen to music outside of just the confines of streaming services and it being put out by labels, and breathing some, you know, freedom into the whole world of music releases. I do like that, and I've spoken about that positively in the past as well. So yeah, Donda 2, you can go listen to it. Many ways to work around that stem player obstacle. You can listen to it on the website, on SoundCloud, everywhere. We're still waiting on 7 tracks to get out there. We had 4 at first, and then now we have 16, so it's probably going to get updated more and more over the months to come, and then at some point we're probably gonna have the whole album, and I do believe that this is gonna be put out on streaming services. You know, at some point Kanye got to realize that, you know, he's a man of the people, so we got to give the music to the people, even if it's after the initial release. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Now I want to know what you think about this. Have you listened to Donda 2 yet? What did you think? I'm still gonna give you all my detailed thoughts on this in the future. I think after we have the whole album, because right now it's really hard to do that. But I do want to know what you think of it. Have you gotten the stem player? If so, what do you think about it? All of that, let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.